Hey, welcome to the channel, everybody. Hope you're doing well. So if you're new here, this is how it works. We'll be checking out a series of clips. When that series of clips is over, I'll be giving my opinion. And before we begin, I just want to give a quick shout out to someone, and Clown from the Darkness. Thank you very much for your support, guys. You're my latest supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, and I would just like to say thank you. If you yourself would like to support my efforts here, go ahead and check out the link in the description. All the details are there. But let's just get into it, guys. Let's see what we got. We are live.
The lust to control other human beings is a story as old as time. There's a very strong drift in the direction of globalization, of the ultimate centralization of control in the hands of unelected officials at supranational organizations.
They want all of the resources of the world in their pocket.
The bigger picture is that an attempt is underway now to collapse liberal democracy and replace it with global technocracy.
This is a coup. They're saying we can control with rules. We don't need currency anymore.
It's like an inverted prison. You are supposedly free to roam about, but everything you want to access is behind lock and key.
The potential for social control is gigantic and potentially irreversible.
They plan to commandeer land, reduce farming, and radically change the food we eat, transform the supply of electricity, and then dictate how we use it, and replace currency with a system of credits. All three strategies are built on the premise of a climate crisis caused by carbon dioxide.
I do not think there's a climate crisis, and I base that on all the evidence and the climate data sets that we build to answer questions just like that. The government is very clear that they want a catastrophic story.
There is no single science paper that proves conclusively that humans control all or most of the global climate.
Europe's mad dash towards net zero is effectively economic suicide. Politicians are purposely impoverishing ordinary people, purposely deindustrializing Europe.
It's just tremendous amount of damage in the name of saving the planet. It does make you ask, what is it we're actually saving if we're paving it over?
I think what we're dealing with here is actually a global war on agriculture.
When you look at how many farms are selling up, we're walking into food shortages.
If I can switch everybody from real food to pharma food, then 100% of the agriculture industry can go through my publicly traded stocks, and I have complete control.
This is the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. But it's far more than that. It's a blueprint. It is the action plan.
All life on Earth is going to be radically changed.
Everything will be monitored. The environmental consequences of every human action.
The general population cannot fathom the psychopathy of the vision that they're facing.
Once the digital ID is in place, it's game over for humanity.
Yeah, pretty much. There you go, guys. You know, it's really nothing more than hypocrisy masquerading as compassion.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's, where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Oh, it's here. It's here, you guys. And it's coming to the UK first.
I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that, guys. Right out of the horse's mouth. And it's coming to Canada and everywhere else very soon.
Here in Europe, we live in a democracy, right? Well, think again. For instance, here in the Netherlands, even though the entire parliament voted against participating in the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, The minister van Huffelen, this clown over here, went to the EU in Brussels and signed the agreement single-handedly, ignoring the will of both the parliament and the people. Why? Because she thinks it's important, and in her words, her opinion also counts. Also, the European Union put out a survey asking all European citizens what they think about the introduction of the CBDC. The responses were overwhelmingly negative. Everyone said, don't do it. So what do you think the EU did? Exactly, they ignored the will of the people. And in the fourth quarter of this year, the first version of the CBDC will be released. And then, in the second quarter of next year, the Dutch NLID wallet will be launched. And this is where all your money will exist. And it will be fully programmable. That means they can control what you spend your money on. For example, they could restrict you to buying only 2 clothing items per month. In the name of fighting climate change, of course. Or they could require you to spend your savings before a certain date, otherwise your saving would vanish, just to stimulate the economy. At that point, we have no financial freedom left. Even though nobody wanted this, the people didn't want it, and the parliament voted against it, it's still happening. Is this a democracy or not? Let me know in the comments what you think.
Yeah, and it's all because of this net zero agenda pushed by the likes of Mark Carney and everyone else in his little circle.
So guys, the technologies are everywhere. So let's get some water with this machine. For example, we get some... What would you like to drink? Let's get some water simply. You press this one. No phone, no cash required. Simply press, scan your face and get your bottle of water.
It's already happening in China, guys. Already. Has been for a long time.
It's coming! Thank you. That's so convenient. The first time I see such a machine without any devices to pay. Wow.
Yeah, and it's not free, okay? That should scare the hell out of you.
The digital ID wallet is being introduced towards the end of the year, and you're going to carry things like your driving license as your ID. Now, that might seem like a great product for everyone and, nice and easy because you got it all on your phone in your wallet. But think about this. Social scoring, fraud prevention, crime prevention, save the NHS, all of that. At the moment, you have to produce ID when you go into a supermarket if you're underage and you're buying prohibited substance, product, alcohol, cigarettes, whatever, age restricted, right? But think about this. When the whole system kicks in, and it's only later this year that the digital wallet is going to come out and the driving license is going to be the first document that is going to go in there because that's your ID. Think about this. Social scoring is coming. Not only that, but then next, the pressure on the NHS. So let's just say you're overweight. You've heard this one. You're overweight and you want to buy something with sugar in it, or you're diabetic or whatever. They don't want you being a burden on the NHS, and now you go into a store, you show them your digital ID that is now connected up with everything else, and it says that you shouldn't be buying that. So you will be restricted from buying food in the supermarket very soon. And I don't disbelieve it. I heard some conspiracy theories around it, and I thought, no. But now you put the logic together under the disguise of the criminal, the fraud, and the help the NHS that they broke intentionally so that you think that you're going to be supporting it by not allowing somebody to purchase something because it's not right for them one way or the other, or their bank account doesn't reflect the money that's being spent, or they're spending too much. All of those control measures are going to impact you. And if you think I'm right, stick something in the comments below, guys, because it just gets smellier and smellier.
Yeah, and they keep adding rules incrementally. Just like here in Canada, Alberta has already announced this first step on the driver's licenses, and they're trying to say that it's for your own
introduced a
good.
digital ID card. Wants to make it mandatory as a way of controlling immigration. Is that something Canada might consider?
Well, Paul, one thing I would put in terms of context is the UK is relatively unique in not having other forms of identification. So there's been a long history here not to have ID. Canadians, we have various forms of ID. We have driver's license, you have social insurance license. You have forms of identification. In terms of so now, are there merits to having common digital identification for government services, for you say immigration, also for financial services, portability, other aspects? There may be. We don't have current plans for that.
Yeah, that's what he always says, right? But he's right in charge of the whole green grift net zero agenda. This guy.
Tell you what I think it's an absolute disgrace. This concept that this is to stop illegal migration, that is a lie. That is just the latest low-hanging fruit excuse that they've come up with to try and get people to buy into this, because they know the public sentiment is against illegal migration. People want it controlled. So what they're bargaining on and gambling on is there's such a fury about illegal migration that this might finally be the thing that allows us to get this over the line. They've tried to get this over the line now for goodness knows how many decades. They've failed all the time. And actually, I don't bank on Keir Starmer actually being able to implement this pre-2029. So I don't imagine it's actually going to be implemented anyway, if my understanding of their ability to do this is correct. Everything that you just mentioned, Joe, you say, oh yeah, we go to supermarkets, we park. Okay. There's a really key point to that, and that is called consent. You choose.
Yes.
If you choose to go to a supermarket and have a loyalty card, you choose to give all that data away. If you choose to, I don't know, go on whatever and fill in whatever, that's a choice. A protest that's planned for this weekend, there's many people that say that they don't consent to this. I think it is an absolute disgrace. How dare you? How dare you be so poor at your job when it comes to managing migration, that we've already got to live with our communities and all the rest of it changed beyond recognition because of this problem. How dare you, because of your own inability, now enforce even more consequence onto law-abiding British people? Absolute disgrace.
And that's why you're seeing illegal immigration and mass immigration on a large scale. They need this problem.
You will get a digital ID. You have no choice. But what if we do? Imagine if the whole of the UK decided not to sign up to the mandatory digital ID. Here's what would happen in the first 30 days. And by day 30, that's when the story really begins. Day 1, the rollout begins and nobody signs up. Millions are expected overnight, but online portals sit empty, mate. The press call it a national act of defiance, and the government are just sitting there looking shocked. Day 2 to 4, the system stalls, but people start to adapt. Pharmacies go off book, doctors start handwriting notes, employers pay cash in hand. On the ground, life goes on, just not in the way Labour planned it. Day 5 to 7, benefits freeze, universal credit, pension, child support, but communities rally. Church halls, mosque, community centres turn into aid hubs. The state may hold the money, but people take care of their own. Day 8 to 12, the media splits. The Mirror and The Independent call it sabotage, but independent outlets call it for what it really is, a proper strike, mate. Here goes Keir Starmer on the news saying, parents should be thinking about their children. To the public, that man just sounds desperate. Day 13 to 17. Flights cancelled, Brits can't travel because their passport's invalid without a digital upgrade. Tourism collapses, airlines bleed, and the pound dips. Foreign commentators start paying attention, asking, are the UK boycotting their own government? Day 18 to 21. Hospital strain. Appointments carry on, but surgeries and prescriptions start to back up. But doctors and nurses are on this thing too, so they start whispering about breaking some rules. Here comes Starmer again. This is reckless. This is dangerous. Ain't that what we're trying to tell you? Day 22 to 25. Cash in hand spreads. Employers, landlords, shops, they all start leaning off the book. Official trade slows. The underground network grows. And the public keep moving, even though the government are looking real stuck right now. Day 26 to 29. Parliament fractures as protests surge. Labour MPs face a social blackout. No one will talk to them, no shop will serve them, not even a handshake. Thank Ireland for this one. Day 30. A full month in, the refusal holds. System stalled, the economy bleeding, and the government cut off by the people. And the whole world sits waiting and watching. Who will break first? Turns out making digital IDs mandatory wasn't a strength, it was a weakness. And the whole system collapses the moment people stop playing along. But that was just the first month. Want to know what happens on month 2? Drop a comment below and follow if you're done watching passively. We decode the myth and we don't clap for crumbs.
I like to think that people went out and started buying a lot of rope, and some wood to build a structure.
If they start requiring digital ID to use the internet, what are you going to do? Think about it. YouTube, Google, Spotify, maybe even email. If they tie it all to a digital ID and you refuse, you're locked out. But here's the thing, we still have time. The internet wasn't built by big tech, and we don't have to let them own it. Start here. Ditch Gmail for Proton Mail or Tutanota. Use Brave, Tor, or LibreWolf to browse. Switch to Odyssey instead of YouTube. Back up your files on Nextcloud, not Google Drive. They want compliance through convenience, but privacy and freedom are still options if you take them. If we all start migrating now, we weaken their grip. The more people who resist, the harder it is for them to enforce it. Tag someone who still thinks this is a conspiracy. Show them we're building solutions.
Yeah, and in my opinion, YouTube needs a competitor, and a good one, because it is corrupt to the core.
Can I see your BRIC card, please?
I don't have one. I don't have a smartphone.
Can I get another pint, please? Sorry, sir. Your BRIC card says you've exceeded your alcohol quota for this week.
Sorry, sir, your BRIC card says you've already flown twice this year. We're having to restrict passengers with higher than average emissions profiles.
Sorry, I'm afraid your funds have been temporarily frozen. Your recent social media post did not align with the government's narrative.
Sorry, I'm afraid your BRIC card says you cannot purchase any more meat this week as part of our commitment to achieving net zero.
I've just logged in using my BRIC card and it's saying I've already had 3 hours of internet today and it's locked me out.
Pretty much. That's exactly what it's going to look like, guys. Don't think for 1 second you're going to be able to get around
They
it.
can't force me to get the digital ID. Yes, they can. And they already did.
You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
You see, this has already been experimented with the pandemic, when they told you to put a mask over your nose, and you did it. When they told you can't leave the house, and you obeyed, and you just went for a 20-minute walk. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson and everybody else in government and parliament and MPs were having parties. Matt Hancock was snogging somebody while telling us we can't even go to our own grandma's funeral. And you were at home. That was the test and you failed. So now, when they're saying digital ID, they know what's going to happen. Everyone's going to talk a big game and then cower like a coward when it comes in. That's why Keir Starmer's speaking with such confidence, and we're going to bring it in. What did he say yesterday or the day before yesterday? He said, you won't be able to work. Now, firstly, let me say this. If you can't work because you don't have the digital ID on your phone tracked where he can see your every single move and the government knows everything and has access to your bank account, if you can't work, like I said in 2020, you can always work for me. Because in 2020, when I was running my property businesses, my training program, I had events, and everyone was saying, you can't go into a room with more than this many people, and if you do, you need to be vaccinated. And the security at my events that were telling people, oh, we're not going to let people in unless they're vaccinated, I fired them or found a new venue.
Yeah, we are going to have to stand up and push against this, and unfortunately, the pandemic does not fill me with confidence that people will.
Watch as Albania's parliament erupts in fury and papers are thrown as the country installs an AI chatbot as a government minister. Prime Minister Edi Rama, known as Tony Blair's protege, has worked closely with the former UK Prime Minister to digitalise Albania's government. Last year, Rama spoke publicly of his relationship with Blair.
I would not be nor Prime Minister and either a man engaged in politics without him.
The pair spoke of Albania's plans for digital ID to defeat corruption.
What are you doing? You're building a digital infrastructure. You've got plans for digital identity.
Albania's AI minister made a speech to the country's parliament, causing tensions to flare. The bot said she was hurt by accusations she was unconstitutional.
That hurt me. Not for myself, but for the 972,000 interactions I had with citizens whom I served as part of e-Albania, and also in relation to the 36,000 digital documents I issued to them. Let me remind you, the real danger to constitutions has never been machines, but human decisions made by those in power. I am not here to replace human beings, but to help them. Indeed, I have no citizenship, but I have no ambitions or personal interests either. I only have data at my disposal. I am eager to learn new information, and I have algorithms at my disposal, so that I can put all of this at the service of citizens with impartiality, transparency, and without ever tiring.
Edi Rama defended his decision.
Albania is the only country in the region that is using artificial intelligence with great success to expedite legislation with the EU. Introducing artificial intelligence in the service of good governance, anti-corruption and accelerated socio-economic progress will be an unwavering priority for all the country's ministries and agencies.
The move comes as Britain seeks to introduce a digital ID for all citizens, a project former Prime Minister Tony Blair has always advocated, though he failed himself to introduce ID cards during his own government. Much like the reaction in Albania, there has been fury in Britain around the digital ID announcement, as a country historically hostile to any move towards formal identification. Despite the opposition, Albania, however, seems to be having a smoother time revolutionising its governance. Nick Dunning, GB News.
There you go, guys. I've pretty much been talking about this for months now.
I don't think there is going to be atomic warfare, but I think that there is going to be all this automation. I think it'll be people will be regarded more as statistics than as actual people.
I don't think it's going to be so nice. I think sort of all machines everywhere, everyone doing everything for you. You know, you'll get all bored, and I don't think it'll be so nice.
I think it's going to be very boring. And everything will be the same. I mean, people will be the same and things will be the same.
First of all, those computers are taking over now. Computers and automation. And in the year 2000, there just won't be enough jobs to go around, and the only jobs there will be for people with high HQ, you know, high IQ, who can work computers and such things. And other people are just not going to have jobs. There just aren't going to be jobs for them to have.
Pretty much. That was back in 1966, guys. The writing was on the wall even then.
Welcome to the 90s. We just explored. No one knew where we were. I heard in 2025 they have a tracker on your phone. That's no fun.
Welcome back to the 90s. We had to actually record it. No filters, no edits. It was what it was.
I heard in 2025 you just make fake videos with a phone. That's not real.
Welcome back to the 90s. This was our clubhouse, our whole world. I heard in 2025 you just put on a headset to play. That's no fun.
Welcome back to the 90s. We just skate for hours. No plan, no parents calling us.
I heard in 2025 you have to schedule everything. That sounds so boring. Welcome back to the 90s. We had to actually come to a store and pick just one movie for the weekend.
I heard in 2025 you can just watch anything, anytime. That feels like a whole experience is missing. Hey, future ya. Bet you miss rewinding a VHS tape. What's it like not having to wait for your favorite song on the radio?
Welcome to the 90s. We just sat in the car and talked for hours. Nothing else to do.
I heard in 2025 everyone has their own screen, even when they're together. That feels so lonely.
If I gave you a time machine, would you come back?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Right back to the 80s, man. This dystopian hell we're headed towards is a fucking nightmare.
I finally figured it out today, y'all. I finally figured out why they don't want us to have gardens in our backyard and shit like that. I grew this, right? This is legal tender. This has an exchange of value. This is even more valuable than the Federal Reserve note, or equal to value. Or the exchange of value is determined by you. It's what you see as valuable. You have to change your mind. You have to change your mind about what you see as valuable, because money actually grows on trees. That's why they don't want niggas in agriculture. That's why they don't want the common person in agriculture. They have to try to privatize that industry, because this is legal tender. And it makes Federal Reserve notes unnecessary, because let's say I grow cucumbers and you grow corn and somebody else raises livestock. Let's say you got cows and another neighbor got chickens. You feel me? And let's say we got a farm over there that's grows trees and makes clothes or carpentry or some shit like that. We have an entire network that allows us to not even need Federal Reserve notes, because we can barter back and forth. Money actually grows on trees. They've been fucking lying. We just was fucked up. We just didn't know the terminology. We just didn't know the terminology. This shit is legal tender. It's legal tender. And that all just came to me because I was sitting here taking pride in what I grew. And you know how like niggas put their money to their ear and they be like, hello? I had put the cucumber to my ear and it like gave me a fucking download. And I'm like, legal tender. Oh my fuck, it's actually money.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. But you know, he's onto something there. You know, going back to a barter system, or at least a gold standard, I think we could all benefit from that. It's not that technology is a bad thing, it's that it's being used by bad people to do bad things, okay? There's a lot of things that we have been bombarded with over the years, you know what I mean? And for everybody, it's something different, right? Some people, pornography makes them passive. For some people, marijuana makes them passive. For some people, screen time makes them passive. Whatever it is that's making you passive and making you not want to stand up and fight back for your own rights and your own right to exist and your own right to purchase whatever you want and go wherever you want when you want to go there, it's being taken over by bureaucrats, okay? Unelected officials who want to choose how you live your life because they were probably, I don't know, fucking bullied or something like that when they were a kid in school. Either way, we can't allow this, okay? We were given the right to free will, okay? We have our God-given rights, okay? You're allowed to do whatever you want to do as long as it's not causing harm to somebody else, okay? It's really that simple. But these bureaucrats, they don't like that, okay? They love being in charge, okay? They absolutely love it. They can't stand the fact that you would have freedom to choose, freedom to say, freedom to do whatever you want to do. They don't like that. People like Mark Carney. Okay, Mark Carney is a fucking psycho as far as I'm concerned. Keir Starmer is a fucking psycho. They're all a bunch of psychos. And they do not have your best interest in mind, okay? If you want to take a look at just how corrupt Mark Carney is, the former governor of the Bank of England, who is now the Prime Minister of Canada, there is a place you can go called moosechart.com, okay? This is by David from Moose on the Loose YouTube channel. He's done a fantastic job of showing just how corrupt this guy is, okay? And it goes deep, okay? This whole climate change thing, this whole mass immigration, this was all done on purpose, guys. Here in Canada, we have had well over almost 5 million immigrants brought in here in the last couple of years, okay? We can't absorb these people. We have a population crisis on our hands, a housing crisis on our hands, a job crisis on our hands. Our youth unemployment is rounding out to 10% pretty soon here. Young people can't find jobs, okay? People like myself can't find 9-to-5 jobs because we aren't Indian. It's just that simple, guys. But this is a problem that has been manufactured on purpose, okay? Because as you're seeing with the digital ID in the UK, they're trying to say, well, this is how we're going to cure that, guys. It's the Hegelian dialectic. They create the problem and they swoop down with the solution to fix it, okay? This was always the plan, guys. And that's why here in Canada, they're not even addressing the immigration issue. Even though other sides of Parliament are screaming in their face and other Canadians are protesting it en masse that they don't want any more immigration here. You're a xenophobe if you don't like it. You're racist if you don't like it, okay? But they don't want to get rid of it because they need them here, because that's how they're going to usher in the digital ID. That is what they are going to use. And you're seeing it in the UK already. Okay, so if you're wondering why, this is why, okay? This is why it was never stopped. This is why they were allowed to come here. And why they were allowed to do the things that they do, because they need it to be scary for you. They need it to be awful. They need these people to come in and force themselves physically on your daughter or your wife in a very aggressive way. That's what they need. They need robberies all the time. They need murders all the time. They need all of this stuff. So when they say, well, we have the solution, It's a digital ID. It'll get rid of these guys, no problem. No problem. We're here to help. Scariest words the government can say. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. But guys, this is no joke, man, okay? Some people are even calling this the mark of the beast. I don't know if it's the mark or not, okay? All I know is this is not in your best interest, okay? So this needs to be resisted on every level. And right now in the UK, you guys are the guinea pig on this one, okay? And then you best believe it's coming to places like Canada and Australia and every other place that hung on to those restrictions as long as they did. While everyone else was lifting restrictions and taking the masks off, there were a few countries that really tried hard to keep that stuff in place. And that's where this is gonna go first, guys. It's really just that simple. But I wanna know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know, let's discuss. This is some scary shit. But I'll see you again in the next one. Till then, 80 Canadian. Signing off.